Ever found yourself struggling to capture the grandeur of a sunset or the vibrancy of a blooming flower in an outdoor shot? Navigating the world of photography can be a daunting task, especially when it comes to outdoor photography. But fear not, for mastering a few basic DSLR settings can significantly enhance your outdoor photos. Let's start with the crux of it all, the exposure triangle. This consists of three elements: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Understanding and balancing these three parameters is key to nailing that perfect shot. Aperture, measured in f-stops, controls the depth of field. A lower f-stop number, like 1.4 or 1.8, will give you a shallow depth of field, making your subject stand out against a blurred background. On the other hand, a high f-stop number like 11 or 16 will give you a deep depth of field, keeping everything from the foreground to the background in focus. Next up is shutter speed, which controls the amount of light that hits the sensor. A fast shutter speed like 1/200th of a second will freeze motion, while a slow shutter speed like 1/30th of a second will create a motion blur effect. Remember, the faster the shutter speed, the less light enters the camera, so adjust accordingly. Lastly, we have ISO, the sensitivity of your camera's sensor to light. A lower ISO number like 100 or 200 will produce crisp, noise-free images, but would require more light. A higher ISO like 1600 or 3200 will allow you to shoot in lower light conditions, but could introduce noise into your images. Now, on to metering modes. These tell your camera where to measure the light. For outdoor photography, the evaluative or matrix metering mode usually works best as it takes into account the entire frame. White balance is another crucial setting. While auto white balance often does a decent job, you might want to manually adjust it to accurately capture the colors in different light conditions. Daylight, cloudy, and shade are some options to consider when shooting outdoors. Lastly, consider using RAW format. While it takes up more storage space, shooting in RAW gives you greater flexibility in post-processing, allowing you to recover details and adjust exposure and white balance. To sum it up, mastering outdoor photography involves understanding the exposure triangle, selecting the right metering mode and white balance, and shooting in RAW. Remember, these are just starting points. The magic of photography lies in experimentation and finding what works best for you. So go out there, play around with these settings, and capture the world in all its outdoor glory.